In the quiet glow of dawn, before the world even wakes, a single man walks towards a plane that would change history. No name, no face, just a shadow moving through mist, carrying secrets heavier than the sky itself. This is where his story began, on runways drenched in golden light and lies. Every rise has an object that carries its truth. For Barry Seal, it was this old leather bag, stuffed with the tools of a pilot, later filled with a fortune earned in the shadows. These hands, steady as steel, would soon become the hands that helped reshape America's war on drugs. He stands at the edge of a runway that stretches endlessly into possibility. The world behind him fades into blur, just like the people he'll leave behind. Ahead lies danger, thrill, and enough money to drown a conscience. And still, he keeps walking. Before the chaos, before the cartel, before the headlines, there was just a young man in a crisp uniform, mesmerized by glowing instruments that promised adventure. Flying wasn't his job. It was the pulse that kept him alive, and that passion would become the key that unlocked an empire. At airports across America, he stood as the picture of discipline and pride, a faceless hero of the skies, admired by passengers who never knew how deep his hunger for more truly ran. Every takeoff felt like freedom. Every landing felt like a cage. Even surrounded by the warmth of family, his eyes were always set on the horizon. He belonged to the sky and the sky alone, and soon, that devotion would lead him straight into the waiting arms of the world's most dangerous men. Night airstrips in Louisiana became the crossroads where a good man drifted into the shadows. Cash whispered louder than conscience. One job became two, and before long, the quiet hum of a small Cessna at night became the soundtrack of a secret double life. He lit a cigarette under the rusted roof of an old hangar, pretending the smoke wasn't a warning rising into the night. Danger crept closer with every flight, but so did the thrill. And thrill was the one thing he couldn't walk away from. Stacks of cash piled high on a wooden table created a new language, one he understood far too well. Money like this didn't just change a life, it consumed it. Barry was stepping into a world where loyalty was bought and betrayal was inevitable. Deep in the Colombian jungle, surrounded by armed men and whispered threats, Barry Seal made a handshake that would define his legacy. The cartel saw him as a gift from the sky, an American pilot with no fear and no limits. They welcomed him with money and kept him with fear. Hidden far from civilization, jungle runways became the arteries pumping cocaine into the United States. Barry's small plane was the beating heart of that operation, trusted, reliable, and unstoppable. Up here, power belonged to whoever controlled the air. A gold watch that was slipped into his hand was more than a payment. It was a warning wrapped in luxury. It meant he was valued, but it also meant he was owned. From this moment on, every flight carried the weight of life and death. When the law finally caught up to him, Barry expected prison. Instead, he found himself sitting across from the men who operated in bigger shadows than any cartel. The CIA didn't want to stop him. They wanted to use him. The contract he signed wasn't written with ink on paper. It was written in risk. With every form, every handshake, the walls around him closed in tighter. He wasn't just a pilot anymore. He was a double agent balancing on a blade. Walking out of that government building, he had no idea he'd just stepped into the most dangerous role of his life. From now on, every takeoff would carry intelligence, and every landing would carry consequences. Installing that camera was the moment Barry Seal crossed a line there was no turning back from. He wasn't just smuggling cocaine, he was smuggling secrets. Secrets powerful enough to tear down a cartel. Through a tiny hidden lens, the truth finally revealed itself. Escobar's men, loading tons of cocaine with absolute confidence. They thought their operation was invisible. They never imagined the eyes watching them were inside the plane itself. In a dim motel room, he flipped through the Polaroids that would make him a hero to the US government and a dead man to the Medellin cartel. Each photograph was a countdown he couldn't hear, ticking towards the inevitable. Under a flickering motel light, Barry's shadow stretched longer than the night. He knew the cartel was searching. He could feel their presence in every parked car, every passing headlight. Protection was promised, but rarely delivered. Peeking through the blinds, he watched the world outside like a hunted animal, silent, tense, and waiting. The man who once soared above clouds now feared the sound of gravel shifting beneath tires. His hands trembled as he locked the door, knowing locks meant nothing against the men coming for him. He had betrayed a cartel, and betrayal always demands payment. In a quiet parking lot, he sat alone in his Cadillac, the engine off, the night heavy with stillness. This was not a man hiding. This was a man waiting because somewhere deep down, he knew his story would never get a peaceful ending. The gunshots shattered more than glass. They ended the life of a man who had flown too close to every kind of power, cartel, government, greed, and ambition. In the end, none of them saved him. Police lights washed over the scene like cold blue waves. Barry Seal's journey ended here, not in the sky where he belonged, but in a lonely parking lot where loyalty and betrayal finally caught up with him. After his death, the truth became a puzzle scattered across classified files, old photographs, and half-whispered rumors. Even the investigators knew one thing for sure: Barry Seal was far more than a smuggler. His belongings told a story that money couldn't erase. Maps that were worn from travel, wings faded from use, documents stained with danger. These were the fragments of a man trapped between two worlds. In the end, he walks into legend, a faceless figure fading into the sunset, remembered not for who he was, but for the secrets he carried. Barry Seal didn't just fly planes. He flew into history, a history that will never be forgotten.